Steve McClafferty, and I'm here with Joseph Beaulieu.
Beaulieu.
I'm interviewing him about his life, his family life, and his own personal history. So you're down in Taunton?
Born and brought up in Taunton.
Yeah.
You said that during Depression, we didn't know about Depression. We just went to a commissary. We got our food there
Okay.
instead of getting the food in a regular grocery store. We survived. We had a good time. Parents were, at that time, I had an older brother, Brother George. He was 5 years older than me. And I had a younger brother who was 18 months younger. His name was Oliver. He passed away about 4 years ago. I had a paper route when I was about 12. At 13 or 14, I'm trying to remember the date. It was around 1940. Because we were in World War I, World War II, and my cousin's husband owned a hardware store, hardware, plumbing, and heating store. And I went to work there at the age of 13. And I worked there until I got out of high school.
Family business.
Well, whatever I had to do, it was everything. And in those days, you didn't have to worry about getting a blue card or anything else to go work. I mean, you go work when you're 10 years old.
Yeah.
And it worked out fine. No one complained about anything. But today they complain about everything.
Yeah.
And they get to go to work when they're like 35, 40 years old, whatever. Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah. So what did you do in high school? Did you do any sports?
No, I was just the opposite. I was hunting and fishing.
Okay, I think that's a sport.
I went after what I did what my uncle did, my Uncle Albert, and I thought it was named after him. But I was, and it was named after his mother,
Okay.
Albertine. We went on, my brother, my son, my brother, who was younger than me, played football and baseball. I didn't go. I went to hunting and fishing.
Okay. Well, you're probably successful too.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Yeah.
Had a good time. Yeah.
Wow.
And then at 16, I got a job. Well, we had a job in the summertime cutting grass at the cemetery.
Yeah.
And the big thing we had to worry about were the cats, because the cats would go after the squirrels. And the superintendent of the cemetery, who was also the head caretaker, and he was the grave digger, I mean, he was everything. Can't think of his name now, but anyway. He used to shoot the cats. He had a bow and arrow that was a crossbow made out of probably number 3 steel out of a car. And he'd shoot the cats, or shoot at them, and keep the cats away from the rabbits and the squirrels. At 16, I went to work at a hardware store, full-time. I was 17 at the time, and I worked there until I got into the Navy. My boss came to me and he said, Albert, he says, you're going to get drafted. This was during the Korean conflict.
Yes.
I said, why am I getting drafted? He said, because you're of age and you're getting drafted. I said, well, what do you want me to do? He says, go where you want. I figured, well, let's see now. You get in the Army and you sleep in a mud hole. You don't eat very often. Marines get shot at. I didn't think about the Air Force. No, because the Air Force, no difference with the Army Air Force. So I says, I'll join the Navy. I did. I went in the Navy. I went to went right by the house. The bus went right by, I went to Boston and enlisted in the Navy, went right by the house to go to
Yeah.
Newport.
Okay.
And I'm thinking,
Jeez.
why can't I get off here? Oh, wait a minute, I'm stuck, you know, I'm in the Navy. And I got in the Navy on November 1st, and my, November 1st, and they gave us a choice. You can either take your vacation now, and we had 6 weeks of training.
Mhm.
You couldn't go
Yes.
anywhere. Right? You were stuck right there. They said you can either go out now or go out Christmas. I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I'm going to take it now
Mhm.
because I may get Christmas too.
Yeah. That's true.
Hey, if I hold out until Christmas, I'm only going to get one.
But also, you're not too far. Taunton's not far from Newport.
No, well,
Yeah.
and between that,
I know.
my mother came from Fall River.
Oh, jeez.
Was right halfway between, all right?
Mhm.
So I get in the Fall River. My uncle came after me. We get in the house, and my mother was coming in from Taunton. My mother and dad, and she come in, and I'm sitting there. Well, what was they doing here? You know? Well, they gave me time off. Here I am. I'm sitting there. Right? So yeah, that was great.
Mm.
But then I had dentures to put in. They took out 2 wisdom teeth.
Okay.
In those days, they just took them out. They didn't know why, they just took them out. Today, they probably leave them in there. But I had my, got the wisdom teeth and lost the billet that I had in the Navy. The billet was to go to the USS Tarawa, an aircraft carrier. Didn't get to go there.
Hmm.
Ah, what am I going to do in the meantime? Well, you get out of boot camp. You had Christmas off. We're going to keep you here for a couple of weeks to find out if your mouth's all right. Then we're going to ship you off to Philadelphia. What's in Philadelphia? I never left town. I mean, like, okay, you know, Philadelphia. So I got to Philadelphia. I waited there until around the 27th of March, and we went to a base called Bainbridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's closed now.
Yeah.
It's probably a museum or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
I went through there a couple of years ago and it was closed. But anyway, what am I doing here? Well, first thing you gotta do is peel potatoes. Peel potatoes? What kind of job is that? I'm in the Navy, you know. So I did. I peeled potatoes for about a week and a half. Got pulled out of that, got into an insurance office, insurance bonds and allotments, and went to school. Came out as a PN3, personnel in third class. Oh, that was fast. I couldn't get anywhere else because I didn't want to go anywhere else. I didn't want to get any higher. I didn't want to get any lower. I was PN3. I was happy. I figured I'm going to be a PN3 here. I'll be a PN3. They're going to keep me here for 2 years. Then we'll go somewhere else because that's what it was. It was 2 years service in the military, on the shore duty, and 18 months on the ship. I'll be on a ship. That's all I want. You know. That's why I joined the Navy.
And did you ever get on a ship?
Never.
Wow.
I spent the whole time at Bainbridge.
Huh.
Everything.
Jeez.
Because when I got to PN3, they extended my time from 2 years to 3 years. Well, I had 6 months, or 8 months, whatever. So I stayed. I got discharged from there in August of '54.
Yes.
But I got married in the meantime.
Ah.
I married a childhood sweetheart who was running around.
High school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, we had a little girl together. Sandy is now going to be 70.
Okay.
What's today's date?
Today is November 3rd of 22.
She was born last month,
Okay.
August 26th,
Mhm.
October 26th.
Mhm.
So she was 70 years old. 70 years old now.
And what's your bride's name?
William.
Lillian?
L-I-L-L, one L.
Okay.
From there, we went to, I got discharged. I went to a school called, can't think of the name of the school, that's all right.
Fall River School of Cooking?
No, no, no. It was a electrical engineering school.
Okay.
Coin Electrical, out of Boston. And I moved to Boston from Taunton because I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, catch a train, go to Boston. While in Boston, I go to school, and in the afternoon I go work at R.H. Stern Company, which was a place where the women could buy anything there, from nylons to whatever they wanted to buy.
Department store.
So like a 4 or 5 story high. Got finished school, went to work for Jack McCarran, who was an electrical engineering outfit. Stayed there for 2 years. Things were going great because we're talking about after the Korean conflict, you had the baby boomers that came out of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
They were 6, 7 years old, and the schools that they were going to were like, well, most of our schools were in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, and they were one-room schools. And you had from kindergarten to the 8th grade in the same class. So the kids in the kindergarten would learn what the 8th grades were doing. They come out smart in the 8th grade. That's how it is. Well, anyway.
I mean, you didn't stop at Filene's basement?
No.
Okay.
No, I used to shop there, but Filene had a thing where it would be up on the top floor, so the 7th floor. And by the time you get down to the basement, you could buy a suit for about a third the price of what it was on the 7th floor.
Yep.
It would keep on coming down. And then you get the Filene's bottom basement. And then if you want to be real smart, you let it sit there and you go to Raymond's next door, which was a junk store, but they had all kinds of small stuff, but it was broken. The suit had a tear in it, or something like that. But I stayed in Boston until 63. 63.
Did the family move up into Boston?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they all went to Fall River.
Okay.
They all, yeah, they were going up in town. My dad being the youngest, he, yeah, well, by the time he got to retire, all his family was dead, because he was a baby.
Yep. Can understand that.
I went from there to Boston. I was working in Boston, and the company that I was working for decided to close the Boston office. I figured, here we go again. I got laid off about 6 times already because the different places I worked at closed the doors because they stopped doing schools. They had all the schools were built. So the guy, the head man of the company, Beaulieu Associates, said, we're going to Hartford, you wanna come? Yeah.
Hmm.
Where's Hartford? Okay, yeah, I'll go to Hartford. So I came to Hartford, and I got out there on a Friday night, you could have laid across the street. There'd be nothing going by. Everything in Hartford was done on Thursday. That was the big night. Friday night, the place closed right up. Wow, all right. I was there about 3 weeks, and I talked to one of the guys in the office, and I said, how do you meet people? I mean, I get to my place, it's a new building, there's nothing there. How do I get there? How do I meet people? I get out of work at 5, they get out of work at 4:30. They get in the door, they close the door, they talk, that's all there is. He says, have a party. Have a party? What do you mean have a party? He said, have a party. Okay. So I had a party on a Friday afternoon. Okay? Let the door open. I had the whole thing set up. I got, there were 12 people in our apartment complex. I got 16 people show up. Because he came along and he better go. Okay. So I went from there to Puerto Rico. Well, to begin with, we were doing the World's Fair in New York.
Yeah.
And I had we had two different kinds of restaurants. And they went around the globe. And that was, one was like a McDonald's, and the other was a little higher class.
Wow.
And they went alternate. They alternated around. There were 12 restaurants. Well, you couldn't get in the complex because it was all union. We weren't union.
Yes.
So you get in there at 6 o'clock in the morning, you get out at 7. If you didn't, you couldn't find your car. It would be gone. Well, tires would be, sometimes we'd be on with the car, it wouldn't run.
Yeah.
So we get in there between 6 and 7, and that was it.
Well, it was Queens, New York, so I can understand that.
Yeah, but this was, we're talking about the 60s now.
Well, still,
Yeah.
64, I remember the World's Fair.
Yeah, they used to put in, they need a plug like that, okay? We forgot to put a plug in, we have it over there. So take a whole coil of wire, 250 feet of it, and put it from one end to that end. That's what? That's 15 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
250 feet. What's that for? Well, when we tear it around, we'll have all this left over, all this scrap. Oh, I don't care. I mean, like, you know, it's only going to go in 2 years, for something that long. In fact, some of the things that we had went over at all. Because they said, came in too late. We had South Korea was one of them. We were designing it, and the place closed. Wow. Didn't get it in. Okay. I had a job in from the
Hartford to Puerto Rico?
well, yeah, but the main office was in New York. We had our office, the branch office was in Hartford. I went from Hartford to Puerto Rico. Stayed there from around February until June. And you couldn't tell the difference in the temperature. It was about 75 all day long, every day. It would rain at 1 o'clock, 1:15 it'd be all over. You could see the cloud coming over. And then you take off and go to the beach. Well, I married the girl that was a secretary there. She came from New York. She had a 4-year-old kid. I don't care about kids.
Yeah.
Give me something to do. Well, we had 3 of them, but that's something else.
Yeah.
She came to the States. She came out of New York City, upstate New York, 171st Street, 171st and There's two go straight up,
Um,
because the 171st was
versus,
there.
yeah.
But anyway,
Lexington?
yeah, could be,
Okay.
yeah.
East side or west side?
West side,
I think Lexington's on the east, so
Yeah.
you're talking Broadway or even, I think Ninth Ave may go straight up.
no, it was named about,
Okay.
it was, but anyway.
Okay.
She lived up 171st Street, or her aunt did. She lived in Puerto Rico, she'd married this guy that, well, he was a manager for Woolworths. What's Woolworths?
F.W. Woolworths was a 5 and dime,
Yeah,
yes.
what is it now?
F.W. Woolworths, I don't think is no longer in existence.
What about Kresge's?
Kresge's is still in existence.
What's it called?
Kmart.
I didn't know that.
Eh? Yeah, you learn something. Huh? That was free. Yeah. Married her, and that went downhill. Downhill after about the 5th year, because we had it was our 3rd child, and she wanted to go to Puerto Rico to have an abortion.
Hmm.
I said no. Well, never that was downhill. And we stayed together for 20 years after that.
Oh.
Something happened. My daughter had a baby. She was 20 years old. She had the oldest child of our group. And yeah, she was the oldest child. And in the meantime, my son Brant was in the Navy. He got out of the Navy. He got a taste of the South, and he decided to stay here. He stayed in Charleston, South Carolina, for a while. Got married, had 2 kids. They moved to, no, he went to Columbia. He lived in Columbia. And then he went he's been living in Charleston for 10 years now.
Oh.
And his daughter has a little girl, and his son has a little girl. I got 2 great-grandkids,
Wow.
3.
Do I hear 4?
There's 3 of them.
Okay.
I don't know about the one in Boston, because she's 70, and I haven't seen her in about 35, 40 years.
Oh.
So
Jeez.
the kids are roughly, well,
Well,
40
35.
years old, yeah, because they were
Mhm.
7, 8 years old when I met them.
Yep.
Uh,
The only thing about the South, it gets a little warm down there in the summer. In Columbia.
We get warm here too, but we have a different warm.
Yes, we do.
It isn't quite as damp.
That is correct. Yes.
It's a little drier and it feels like a little different, but it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we've had 95 degree temperature here.
Oh, yeah, 95 down south is a lot different than 95
Yes,
up
it
here.
is, yeah. Yeah, 75 down south, the same as 95 up here.
Yeah. So you're doing electrical engineering?
Well, I got out of that
Oh.
in 1970
Mm-hmm.
because that kind of fell apart.
Okay.
And I went to sales, and I sold all over New England. I'd be gone 3 or 4 days.
And what did we sell?
I started selling a lubricant. No, I started selling lenses, these
Oh, okay, for,
plastics.
yeah.
Plastic for lighting fixtures. That was before they came around and they gave something like $30 for someone who changed the ballast
Mm-hmm.
to electronic ballast. Well, if they changed the ballast, they changed the fixture. They changed the fixture, I was out of business. I wasn't selling the lenses. But I was selling lubricants, LPS come out of California. Their main office was in Tucker, Georgia. I never went down there. Didn't have to.
Yeah.
And then I was over 60 when we had our divorce. Yeah, 60 years old, I was gonna have my divorce. I traveled the country, I traveled north and south for about a year. I came back, I got up here to Bird Mill Campground over here in New Bedford.
Okay, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm there, and this guy came in, he was cutting the grass, and I started talking to him. Talked to everybody. And he said, they're looking for a host. I said, they are. He says, yeah. I said, where? He says, they got 3 places. Okay. I says, what's some of the places? He says, this one here, we got one at Grove Pond, and one up in Littleton, Lincoln.
Okay.
I said, okay. So I went up, and I had very little, except the thing that I had working for the Corps of Engineers. So I went there, I went to the office, and I handed on my slip, and I got hired right away. I figured, okay, I got 3 years in New Hampshire, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Being a forest.
yeah, well, you sit there and talk to people, that's all you do. So, but the thing is, that you have a place to stay. When I retired in New Hampshire, that was I was 61, I guess, at the time. I went from there to South Carolina. But I asked the head ranger. I says, "Is there a place in South Carolina near Columbia, near Charleston?"
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Yeah, why?" I said, "'Cause I got a son down there who's in the Navy, who's stationed in Charleston. He's in the submarine service, and he won't be coming home for Christmas. So I'll take a run down. I'll be down there. He can't go home, I'll be down there." Okay. I got there. He stayed in the Navy for 2 years.
Mhm.
2 years, well, 2 years while I was there. Because he was in 8 years altogether. He stayed in, he came out, he was a boatswain mate, I guess he was. No. We're trying, but anyway. He came to Windsor, Mass, and they had a GE plant, a GE Westinghouse. They was teaching them about nuclear power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he learned about.
Wow.
He became a nuclear engineer on the sub, and that sub was stayed on for 6 months, not come up at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
Yes.
God, that must be a long day, you know. Must be like a 40-hour day. He said, no, he said, get used to it.
Mm.
Get used to it. I know I wouldn't, you know, but that's what I did.
Ah.
He was in they had 2 teams, the blue team and the red team, and he was in the blue team. The blue team was officially out of Charleston, South Carolina, but they had a place in Florida that they went to. I said, well, what do you guys do in a hurricane? We just go out and get out.
Yeah.
The hurricane goes over, and we get up.
They come up.
Nothing to worry about, you know. Well, man, no sweat.
So what did you like being a forest ranger?
Well, it's almost 20 years. I worked, yeah, more than 20 years, 23 years
Okay.
as a forest ranger. I stopped doing forest work, 96, 97.
Okay.
I got fired. I was 85 years old.
How dare they do that?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just because they let some people go at 60, doesn't mean they have to let me go.
Mhm.
I'm working for nothing.
Yeah, Grout Pond is a nice area. I
Yes.
like that.
But they changed it since I left. They made it a pay station.
Yes. Yep.
It used to be free.
Yeah.
And the first year that I got there, they emptied the donation box. And they were selling like $115 for the whole summer. $115. We gotta do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the envelopes, and I put Grout Pond on them,
Yeah.
put a stamp on it. I put the map of the area and thank you note on the back of the envelope. Got $1,400 the first year from the $100.
Mm.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, considering what?
Yeah.
May, June, July, August, right? 5 months, 4 months, right? Part of June, part of,
Yeah, part of May.
part of May.
Yeah.
No, well, in those days, they used to come in on the Friday and leave on a Sunday. And that's when I made the $1,400
Yeah.
on 3 days, 2.5 days.
Mm-hmm.
But now this thing is open 24/7.
Yes, it is. Did you live up there at Grout Pond itself?
I lived in that house.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the only house left. That used to be the lounge for the host, and the Saltmasters, or wherever the adults were. They had behind that house, down the bottom of the hill, on the left-hand side, you can still see the footing, but that used to be the infirmary.
Oh.
And the infirmary got picked up by one person who lived there.
Hmm.
And he took it apart, and they were 8x8 sections, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it
Yep.
apart, took the whole thing apart, and moved it. Masick